Welcome back, everybody. We're changing things up just a little bit, and we are ending the show with an absolute bang. I know that our guest tonight is going to be excited to talk about this, but last week, President Trump made history signing an executive order that effectively bans debanking based on political preferences. So joining us now is former Kentucky Attorney General. He's now the CEO of the 1792 Exchange, and he's also running for Senate there in Kentucky, Daniel Cameron. Sir, thanks so much for being here.
Amanda, thank you. Excited to be on with you and John tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are delighted to have you. And, it's amazing how President Trump reacts to his voter base, which ideally is what politicians should do. They should listen to their base. And this is something President Trump campaigned on. What do you see the impact as?
Well, Amanda, this is, to your point, a win for the American people. What person out there doesn't agree with the idea that we need to ensure that our banking institutions don't get rid of someone's account simply because of their political affiliation? President Trump could speak eloquently to this and specifically to it because he had experienced it with JP Morgan and Bank of America. Again, this is a president that is looking out for the working men and women of this country, folks that want to be able to say loudly and proudly that they support the president's agenda and not fear that they're going to have their bank accounts terminated. It's a scary world if that was the case. And so with this executive order that the president instituted, Americans can feel safer that they're no longer going to be debanked or deplatformed simply because they find themselves center right when it comes to their political affiliation. It's a good move and a good win for the American people.
Yeah, no doubt. So I want to ask about the decision by President Trump to federalize law enforcement in Washington, D.C. You had a harrowing incident in Kentucky recently where a mom of an autistic child gets abducted from her home with her kids at knife point, taken to a bank. The bank is robbed. She gets stabbed as the robbery is going on. Fortunately, she survived. The person that was there let out early on parole by a judge. This crime issue is really resonating all across America. How do you think Americans will react to the federalization of the police here in Washington, D.C. now?
John, President Trump ran as the law and order candidate, and he is delivering on that commitment to the American people to keep us safe. Whether it is ensuring that our nation's capital is beautiful again and people feel safe in going there, or it's making sure that we quell these insurrections that were happening across this country related to people challenging and protesting and ultimately assaulting ICE officers simply because they were trying to follow the law and remove illegals from this country. Again, this president is going to ensure that this country is safe and secure, and is the law-abiding citizens of this country know that they have a president, the White House, that's going to look out for them as opposed to coddling the criminals. I'm proud of this president for doing it and ensuring that people can sleep soundly in their homes. And when it comes to the specific issue in Kentucky where this judge let somebody out early, again, we've got to have judges, we've got to have a judicial system that is looking out for law-abiding citizens, not the criminals. Let's quit coddling them. President Trump understands that. He's going to fight for the American people and to keep us safe in our homes.
Yeah, so important.
Sir, yesterday when President Trump was speaking about protesters spitting in the faces of law enforcement, he said, basically to law enforcement, that they could say to protesters, "You spit, we hit." I started seeing headlines after that were completely skewed, attributing this quote to homeless people, saying this to homeless people, which of course was not true. And I was a little bit worried that this was going to end up being a Charlottesville thing. However, I woke up this morning and it was pretty much out of the news cycle. Do you think the left has learned that the Chicken Little hair on fire democracy is ending, the tyrant in the White House, he's destroying the world? Do you think they know that rhetoric just doesn't work anymore?
Well, Amanda, perhaps this is a reprieve from their normal commentary, but I don't give them that much credit. I mean, tomorrow they'll try to find something else to attack this president on. But what is clear is that regardless of whether it's the Russia hoax, whether it is Alvin Bragg in New York, or the raid of Mar-a-Lago, or the countless things that the left is trying to throw at this president, he fights back because the American people understand that he's fighting for them. And when you have a president that is standing firm with the American people on the majority of issues, again, this is a president that is on the 80% side of every issue. The left their media finds themselves on the 20% of issues. This is a president that's standing up for the American people. The left, unfortunately, I don't think always gets that or understands that. Again, I'm glad to know that they didn't try to dramatize or make this into something bigger than it was. But tomorrow it'll be another issue that they'll want to raise and try to attack this president on. But the American people are tired of it, don't believe, and that's why ultimately they don't trust a lot of the news media that's out there.
Yeah, no doubt. Sir, you served obviously as a top law enforcement officer in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. Today, you're running for Senate. The polls have you up pretty big in the Republican primary. How's it going on the ground, and what issues are you hearing from voters when you're out and about?
Well, John and Amanda, it feels good on the ground. We've got a lot of momentum. In fact, I was just speaking to a group before I came to do this interview. People are fired up. I mean, they want leadership from Kentucky in the United States Senate that's going to fight for a merit and opportunity society, going to fight for our competitive advantage when it comes to coal and natural gas, going to ensure that this country is no longer built on these ideas of diversity, equity, and inclusion, but it is an America built on merit, excellence, integrity, and intelligence. They want a Commonwealth that is free from the lawlessness that we see in some parts of this country. And they want, again, a law and order senator. And I stand for those things. I've demonstrated that with my track record as Attorney General. And I think that's why I've been doing so well in the polls. And most recent poll had me at 44% to my closest competitor, who I think was maybe at 18% or 17%, somewhere along those lines. But again, it's because I've got a track record. People believe that when I go to Washington, I'm going to stand up for their values and interests. And that's what you want from a senator from Kentucky, somebody that's going to stand up for the America First agenda and support President Trump. I've got the track record. I've done it, and will do it when I'm in the United States Senate.
Yeah, I know the people of Kentucky have a deep, deep love for you and your service to the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Tell everybody where they can find more about your campaign.
Yeah, to your viewers, if you wouldn't mind, go to CameronForKentucky.com. Again, that's CameronForKentucky.com. You can find out more about the campaign, and if you would, you could donate there as well.
Fantastic. Former Attorney General of Kentucky, now candidate for Senator for Kentucky, Daniel Cameron. Thanks so much for being with us, sir. I got a feeling that wokeness and meritocracy is going to be a big part of the midterm elections, because it seems like the economy is about to be roaring, and as John and I were discussing, illegal immigrants self-deporting. So those two topics might move out of the #1 and #2 spots, and we'll see next November. It's coming very quickly. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.